Re 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 re. Re. Okay. I love your YouTube name, by the way. Yeah. No.
Don't forget, some things mustn't be forgotten. The shadow hunting me. I must hurry. My name is Daniel. I live in London at Mayfair. What have I done? This is crazy.
Nah, this is on my PS4.
Don't forget. I must stop him. Focus. My name is... I am Daniel.
Have you ever seen somebody play this game before? Well, this is Amnesia, and it's like one of the scariest games ever. But it's won like tons of awards whenever it first came out for like being the best horror game of like 2 or 3 consecutive years or whatever. So I've like played this game once and one other time, but I didn't really get far in it because that was like a year ago, and I was still like a real big like something, and so you know I didn't really
Hi, my name is Thomas Grip,
okay,
and I'm one of the co-founders
really go far in
of
it.
Original Games. I worked with engine code, gameplay code, design, and many other things for Amnesia. In my commentaries,
Yes,
I
I
will
was a
mainly
very
focus
scaredy
on
cat.
the design behind the different parts of the game. I hope you'll enjoy them.
I will. To throw the door open or shut? What? Oh, I can. Oh. Okay. It's kind of weird. Yeah, and like I forgot how I play this game like completely. So. Okay. Big brain. Yeah. No, I don't. I have a very big brain. So. Okay, I got 1 tinderbox. Tinderboxes are used to light candles and other light sources in the environment. The current number of tinderboxes. Okay.
The name of this level is Rainy Hall, and it's supposed to be a combination of atmosphere setter and tutorial for the player. We wanted the player to start the game in a slow way so they could settle in and get used to how the game works. Amnesia is not a game with constant action happening all the time, and we wanted to have a constrained map where the player gets used to this. The only thing you need to do is to follow the track and get to the end of the level. Also, following tracks is something that becomes very useful in later levels, so we try to teach players this from the start.
I wish I had like a lantern or like a flashlight. Let's see. This game was made by some Swedish and Norwegian people. No. Dang it, I killed Bottle. Okay, I need to go find me, something. Can't believe I killed the Bottle. Bottle's a friend. Okay, let's see. Nothing. Ooh, another tinderbox. I know, right? Like I'm trying to use a broom on some blood. Like that makes sense, you know? Oh. That's nice. Okay. How do I run? I hear somebody walking up ahead. Is there a way that we could call while you do this and I can still... Yeah. Here, let me call you real quick. Hey, you can, if you like, just go back to YouTube or whatever, you can keep on watching. What?
It's on my screen.
It is? Okay.
Oh, I get to see you.
Well, you don't actually, like, bump into, like, any, like, the monsters in this game until, what's it called? Like, a little bit later on. Wait, what the world? Okay. And there is a delay, so I don't know what is happening right now. Yeah. The world.
I was listening to SpongeBob.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, that music is so good.
I haven't watched any SpongeBob in such a long time.
What?
I have not listened to SpongeBob and, like, watched SpongeBob in a very long time.
Dang. That SpongeBob music is like amazing, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I can't hear SpongeBob.
Uh-huh. Why didn't Alex tell you though, like, while I wasn't like there today? Like, I told her last night and I'm not gonna be there.
I don't know.
Oh, and I'm not really like sick. It's more I went to the doctor yesterday. They said that I have like a bacterial infection, and so they then were just like, hey, we'll give you like a school pass if you really want it. And so then I was just like, give me that shit. And so now I am getting off of school like free for a day, because like I really could have gone to school today, but
This is one of the first level that we created for the game, and it was initially part of the archives level, which we will reach in a bit.
you're
And
lagging.
we just started out with a pretty different design, and when we redesigned it, the maps did not fit. This caused us to split them up and scatter them out. So in the first design, after this corridor, the archives level was supposed to follow, and the room lying there now was built much later. In fact, the first designs did not have Daniel waking up with an amnesia at all, and it was actually added later on. In the first story draft, Daniel still had hidden memories, but he was unaware of this at the start of the story. However, as we redesigned things, we found him waking up with amnesia much
Oh,
more
those are
later.
massive cockroaches. Here, I'm gonna hook up my headset to my phone.
Hi there, my name is Yusuf. I'm mostly the tool programmer, level scripter at times, and perhaps the main reason why the rest of the core team at Fictional Games is pretty much forced to speak English at our internal meeting, as I am the only non-Swede here. Now, what a Spaniard is doing with a bunch of Swedish guys is a whole different story we won't be discussing today. By the way, I will be talking mostly about tools and scripting, hope you like it. The editors themselves went through a lot of design changes during the development. Not that many in visual appeal as in internal stuff, like data structures and handling. This happened mostly because at the beginning we only knew the basic stuff that needed to be in them, and as they grew in features and functionality, they started to kind of fall apart. mostly due to my big lack of previous experience in projects like this. Right now, aloud what the hell still sounds in my head when I look at some parts of the code, but I am still proud of them. They can also get a bit buggy at times, but hopefully this won't happen again in the future, and I already got some nice ideas for the next iteration of the tools.
August 1839. I wish I could ask how much you remember. I don't know if there will be anything left after I consume this drink. Don't be afraid, Daniel. I can't tell you why, but know this. I choose to forget. Try to find comfort and strength in that fact. There is a purpose. You are my final effort to put things right. God willing, the name Alexander of Brandenburg still invokes bitter anger in you. If not, this will sound horrible. Go to the inner sanctum, find Alexander, and kill him. His body is old and weak, and yours, young and one.
I think we can all feel the story kick-starting as we finish the letter from Daniel. The game itself is just filled with confusion, and I think we're really doing the player a service keeping it simple in the beginning. Basically try to take your revenge on Alexander, that is the premise of the game. You don't really need to dive any deeper than that, but hoping that... Hello everyone, my name is Mikael, and I'm the writer for Amnesia, The Dark Descent.
This is one of the first levels that we created for the game, and it was initially part of the archives level, which we will reach in a bit. Amnesia started out with a pretty different design, and when we redesigned it, the maps did not fit. This caused us to split them up and scatter them out. So in the first design, after this corridor, the archives level was supposed to follow, and the room lying there now was built much later. In fact, the first designs did not have Daniel waking up with an amnesia at all, and it was actually added later on. In the first story draft, Daniel still had hidden memories, but he was unaware of this at the start of the story. However, as we redesigned things, we found the waking up with amnesia thingy, although a bit cliche, much more fitting.
I think we can all feel the story kick-starting as we finish the letter from Daniel. The game itself is just filled with confusion, and I think we're really doing the player a service keeping it simple in the beginning. Basically try to take your revenge on Alexander, that is the premise of the game. You don't really need to dive any deeper than that, but hoping that the player will care about the story, they have the entire game in front of them to decide if they think killing Alexander is justified or not. Hello everyone, my name is Mikael, and I'm the writer for Amnesia, The Dark Descent.
Hello, my name is Mark Nikander. I'm a 3D artist and level creator at Fictional Games. I started out as a helper during Penumbra Overture, and I was finally hired as a full-time artist in the later part of Penumbra Black Plague.
Don't believe I have. Is it connected to the... what did you call it?
The inner sanctum. My most precious chamber, Daniel. And it lies well beyond the refinery. In fact, it lies beneath the very stone of Brennenburg.
Scattered throughout the game, you can see some signs written in Latin. The reason for using it is that it was considered a language of culture and science, as most scientific and philosophy authors wrote their works and treatises in it. As we are dealing with a castle dwelled by a pretty smart guy that has been around since the Renaissance period, Latin all around the place was something we should expect. Being the only guy in the team that had a direct contact with Latin, in high school to be more precise, well, it was kind of logical that any translation to be done would have my name on it. Translating stuff into Latin was kind of strange and fantastic to do. At first I had a classic Latin dictionary, so if I had to translate any modern term, I would have to track its etymology down to the Latin equivalent, or look for a synonym or similar expression that had a direct translation. Then I had the luck to come across some dictionary for modern stuff online that addressed most of this stuff for a huge lot of terms, so it couldn't have come in a better time. Some days
There should be more coop rats. Let me see. And one part aqua fortis.
16th of May, 18th. Later that evening. Tomorrow. Seventeenth of May, today. I was... May, 1839. After pounding the unforgiving stone wall for what seemed like an eternity, I realized it was hopeless. I was trapped. I fell to the ground, gasping for air, trying to focus. That's when I saw a faint blue shimmer. My weakened body was heavy to carry, but I managed to push myself toward the enchanting light. It was waiting for me. Enclosed in dark nothingness, I felt myself drawn to the mystic light. I reached out, closing it in my hands. The faint glow escaped my fingers and began to spark brightly and spirit me away, unlocking alien memories of spiraling towers, endless deserts, and impossible geometry. The next thing I can remember is the grating sound of stone being lifted, the voices of the Arabs pulling me to safety, and grasped firmly in my hands was the broken pieces of a most peculiar relic.
Much of the castle is old and hasn't been tended to for centuries. When the shadow arrives, it won't take long until things start falling apart.
We're just buying time anyway. Let's do what we can.
There isn't much to be done about the wards. We should reinforce weak structures. The ground will tremble and there's a risk everything will cave in on us, especially downstairs. Here, and there. Let's get the servants working on it. You have to be swift when you activate the first one. You hear that? If it stops, you'll have to start over.
Isn't all this a bit excessive?
You can never be too careful, Daniel.
the Baron go?
Who cares? He left us enough wine to last us a lifetime. Or at least until tomorrow.
Taste, that fragrance, Damascus rose.